you're having those emotions, right? If those feelings ultimately,
what are you
and the
around?
right guy comes along that's also, 9, 10, you like him, right? Because those guys you liked. And if he moved the right way and he was having those emotions, he probably has a greater chance of fucking than if he had no clue you had these emotions.
No, because at that time, I think you just humped. You just dry humped.
You humped and you kissed him for
guys,
a very long
shit.
time.
They just humped.
Yeah, but listen, they might not have knew what fucking was. But they was just trying to tongue you down.
There's one kid. You trying to say there's one kid out there that knows what fucking
there was
is.
Listen, I'll never forget
One bad
when
kid.
I was in 6th grade, there was one kid who was fucking. We were all trying to fuck.
What?
In 6th grade, we were trying to fuck. You know what I'm saying? At that point, we knew what it was. We was trying to get some pussy, right? But there was this one kid. I won't say his name. You know what I'm saying? Because he's still to this day very fucking popular dude in the state. You know what I'm saying? His name, I'll give you his first because a lot of Michaels, but it's a Michael. And he knows because he's in 6th grade with me. Very popular. This nigga was fucking. There was this one girl who, and she was in the class, and we would just be sitting there doing our work and shit. This is Hempstead. Hempstead is like kind of like really hood. So, really hood. So we doing work and shit, and the bitch just in the back of the class was like,
Wait, what?
this is 6th grade. Whole class looked back, so she put her head down and just start doing work. Okay. So we like, what the fuck is going on in the back of the fucking class, right? So my nigga Mike sitting next to her and shit. And it made my eyebrow go up because like, yo, she fucking. So I was like, yo, she ready. Because you don't know which girls is ready. You understand what I'm saying? At 6th grade, you don't know who ready to fuck and who not ready to fuck. But this bitch in the back moaning. I'm like, she fucking ready. You understand what I'm saying? My nigga Mike was already on it though. So then I found out later Mike had already been fucking. So he might have was, I don't know, that's probably had it back there moaning. Now I think about it, I never asked him. But it was the only nigga that I knew in 6th grade that was actually fucking. So what I'm saying is, if you'd have met the right nigga in 6th grade, Mike would have been fucking.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
My nigga Mike would have been fucking.
You saying?
Huh?
You saying we just haven't
It
met
just didn't
anybody that's
happen.
bold enough?
I would disagree with you.
You probably had the
because
opportunity to.
I disagree with you because I definitely dated up until I actually had sex with different guys up in that they were obviously sexually active and shit, and I wasn't.
How you know? But how do you know they were sexually active?
Because he was
Yeah, they would tell you straight up.
Niggas be capping though.
It's like my first, right? My first. When he knew he was ready. He was ready before I was. I wasn't like, let's have sex.
But niggas were niggas be capping.
They do.
What I'm saying is,
female don't know that they're capping.
We're
just like, okay, he's experienced until he's like knocking on the wrong door and shit. Like, hello.
Or if it's only a
wrong
two-stroke.
way to go to the hole. You know what I'm saying? I thought you knew what this was.
It's not. But wait. My point is that just because you dated guys, it does not mean that they were fucking. You see what I'm saying? They might have just been saying, yeah, I did it before. Because that's just guys being macho. But they didn't. It's like the J. Cole song, right? He did a whole song about this shit, right? Niggas just be capping. They be lying. That's most niggas when they say first time. It'd say somewhere between 15 and 18. They niggas wasn't fucking at 13, 14, da-da-da.
Yeah, but when
only
you're
a few
female,
though.
When you're a female, you have a lot more peer pressure as far as sex goes.
Oh, you don't be a hoe.
I feel like, no, not that you don't want to be a hoe, but you feel like when guys are talking about it, you automatically think that they are more advanced sexually than you are.
Right, because they hype is real
big. Yeah, so you think kind of like you're the one left out or the last one.
And sometimes I was just gonna say sometimes, or they expect us to do what they see in the videos, and it's like, brother, you can't.
Especially if I paid for it.
And it's all edited and shit. Like, come on.
Look.
So it's definitely edited.
It's like 10 clips.
You ain't gonna ram up into my life.
And niggas ain't gonna last as long as some videos either.
That part.
Those videos restart.
Let's not go there.
That could have been a cum they had in 10 minutes, 5 minutes in, and they just put it at the end of the video and just chop it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course. And they do. Let me ask this then. When women masturbate, what are y'all thinking of?
Ooh.
I don't think all women are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, because when men are masturbating, we're thinking that our dick's going in some pussy. Whose pussy could be whoever, but it's going in a pussy, right? Or an ass or whatever, but it's going in a woman or a man if you like that shit, right? Or as Mr. C said, a transgendered woman. Okay.
Get it right.
But either way, right? Your dick's going into some shit, right? And that's what we're thinking of. Are women thinking of some shit, or is it just I came? Because if you're thinking of some shit, then I'm thinking at 8, 9 years old, why wouldn't you be thinking about sex?
I think it was
if you're
more
masturbating
so
already.
For me personally, I can't speak as women and whole because I think
you
we're
might gonna
introduced
say.
at different stages of life. But I think for me, it was just like
Just something to do.
Very in the
sound.
beginning.
It was all about the audio for me. It was like,
I was
the
going to say, my
sound
thing
of
was
the porn.
listening.
yeah. I didn't
Oh,
have
so
to
you
look
did
at
wait.
it. I
So
didn't have to look
wait.
at it. I'll just be like,
So you were watching porn while you were masturbating.
sometimes, most of the time.
Oh, so
Not
you were
all,
thinking
but
about the
most of the
porn.
time.
Okay. So you were thinking
Well, you
about
hear
sex.
it, but
Hear
not
it.
that you
Oh,
but not
yeah.
actually thinking of penetration.
Yeah. If
Not
I'd have met
actually
you back
thinking
then,
of
I'd have
penetration.
slayed. Yeah. I'd have slayed that.
You didn't
dragon.
slay when you fucking met me. I
With a
was
slave.
lying.
I might have slayed that. My nigga, if I would have known that there were women who were I can't say women because they weren't women, right? If I'd have known there were girls, and that sounds so disgusting at my age now. If I don't know if there were people at 8 and 9 that were
Back at my
masturbating
age.
back then,
At your age.
it probably would have been easier to
No, but I
finally
got
get
it.
some pussy earlier, sooner.
That's some bullshit. That is some bullshit.
How?
So you trying to say that you feel like you would have addressed a woman differently based off if you knew she was sexually active?
I didn't even know. Yeah.
That's
I didn't even.
fucked up.
Yes,
That's-
I didn't even know to ask a girl back then. Do you masturbate? I didn't know it was a thing.
But you know why?
Like you would
that's
ask,
fucked
have you
up?
ever had sex? And they would say, no, I'm a virgin. But
you-
you never would ask, did you
Have you-
masturbate?
Right. I
You
don't
never
think
asked
we got
that
that question
shit.
until like high school.
Right.
But you know why that's fucked up? Because it supports like a dumbass narrative of a teenage boy that feels like, oh, she's kissing, she's fast, she's she wants me,
Yes.
she wants to fuck, and
Yes.
that's not necessarily true. Just because she has masturbated doesn't mean she wants you to penetrate her,
Right.
Or to have
You
sex
let me
with
tongue
her.
you down, you'll let me fuck you.
Not
That's
necessarily.
the thought of a teenager.
But not as a teenage girl.
Well, hey, that's on y'all. I don't go
See,
fuck.
this is why
I'm
you
gonna
shouldn't
fuck.
tell guys your business.
I'm gonna fuck.
Because
You let a
your
teenage-
whole, but do you see how your whole persona on a woman has changed based off you knowing her sexual history or activity, and that's
Yes.
fucked up. So you would treat her differently, knowing that she's like you wouldn't say
Wait.
you wouldn't even give her any gauge, just like come here, bitch. Let me.
Well, maybe not treat
No,
her
you
differently.
still
Maybe
play-
he's saying like I would have been able to be comfortable.
I would have
to
been more
approach
forward.
her. Like if you knew
You were forward.
I would have been more forward.
But you were forward.
Wait.
Saying you want to fuck is pretty forward. How forward you? What's more forward? Explain what more forward is than that.
That's not what I'm saying. You gotta get what I'm saying.
That's you saying.
going
you
back,
fronting.
going
back
back
to
to be 3rd and 4th grade, right? And what I'm saying is, in 4th grade, when I had a girlfriend,
I'm not
right?
just saying 3rd and 4th grade.
little girlfriend or whatever. If I would have known that my little girlfriend in 4th grade knew exactly what sex was watching it and was masturbating and could fucking have an orgasm in 4th grade, instead of just wanting to hold her hand and kiss her, I'd be like, yo, what you doing after school? Can I come over? But I would have been more forward if I would have known. But I didn't want to sound like I was so fast and this big creep trying to fuck on somebody's daughter.
But
is what
the
I'm
point
saying.
is, just because
You know?
she's doing it does not mean that you are invited or that you are needed in that equation.
Oh, I would have treated her like gold trying
She
to get
don't
that
need.
pussy.
Look up, but she
You
doesn't.
know how rare. Well, you got to understand how rare it would be to find a 3rd or 4th grader that's willing to let you put your little tiny weenie next to her shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Not even
So
in.
I'm treating her. It probably wasn't big enough to get in, but I'm treating her. I'm treating her like she's the fucking most precious thing in the world. I wouldn't have treated her as bad as I did. Because I could hold any bitch hand and kiss any bitch, but I can't get next to any bitch pussy here, okay?
You a different breed.
If your mama worked 3 to 11 like my mama, I could fuck around my bike over to your house. And that would have been my thought at
can't.
8 and 9.
You
Shit, my
don't
kids
have
at home
that
right now, that might be my son's thought.
like, hey, my
6th
dad
grade.
do a podcast at 5 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying. My son went missing. I didn't know where the fuck he was.
Oh God.
I thought he was at a bitch house. Told me he had some nigga house.
Yeah, playing
Capping.
video games.
Capping.
Leave him alone.
Hey, Capping.
No.
There's some bitch I was jumping on her trampoline.
Ooh, didn't let them jump.
Didn't let them jump.
Let them jump.
Next thing I know is a fucking somebody talking about Mr. Brown.
In parks, be careful.
Your son's the daddy. Got time for that shit. Fuck out of here.
It's different now. I mean, even
I ain't teach him how to pull out yet. Once I teach him how to pull out, then he can have some sex. Shit got me through a lot.
Oh.
Fuck y'all talking about. Anyway, one last thing I wanted to talk about.
Double standard in sexuality. It's just so.
There is a double standard though. There's a double standard in everything. Y'all judge men off of things too. Y'all judge us off the size of our dick and how y'all would treat us and how y'all wouldn't treat us.
That's not true.
Keep it a bean. No, on the Just Listen podcast, we keep it 100.
Yeah. So what you trying to say though?
All right. This is a thing called big dick energy, little dick energy, right? If a nigga's dick, like she said, right, he must have had a little dick. Because if his dick was big, you would have follow him to any religion, right?
All I'm saying is
Kim would have treated him differently if his dick was big. You feel what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is
we can't. It's not just men that are simple-minded. Women are simple-minded when it comes to sex, just like men are. But only when it comes to sex. You feel me?
Damn. So I'm not gonna put somebody on blast, but. Yeah, I would
put them
say
niggas on the Just Listen podcast. We put niggas on.
We
blast.
put niggas on blast. Hey,
only if they deserve to be put on blast. But go ahead.
I really do think that's a real thing. Sex is a big part of a relationship or a big part of intimate. So I feel like if you don't have that connection, and it just, I remember I thought I was. So like as females, we start noticing things about us. So I thought I was like, am I too big or am I too wide? Like, well, this is crazy. But I was like, oh, it's like not me. It's like him. You know what I mean? And this was, a year ago, but years ago. But you think of yourself like
years ago, guys.
Years
I should have
ago.
this is recent.
It was a year ago. Then whoever that nigga was a year ago, nigga, it was you. The first answer, it was you, nigga. Fuck.
But it does it just don't work.
Got you. So you're saying that you couldn't figure out whether or not you were too wide or if his dick was too small.
Yeah.
As to why certain positions wouldn't work or
certain positions, and then the way he just felt in there. It was just the way it was. I don't know. It didn't feel full. It didn't feel like comfort. It was just like,
hanging out.
Okay. Just hanging.
Just gonna rub around this thing a little bit.
Like,
how y'all doing?
I just,
rubbing the furry walls.
There we go. It's
like, is that your man? Point, nah, we just hanging out.
At this point, you're just playing with me, and now I'm sexually frustrated.
Okay.
So I do see that because it gets to the point like, oh God, he's a cool dude, blah blah. But that's more past
shit.
Like
a whole nother
how big was this guy? Not every man who's listening to the podcast is thinking, how big is this guy that she did not feel this thing? Like
she's saying that the small dicks are in the friend zone. They just hang out.
Yeah, they just hang out, and then they get mad at you when
that didn't count. That don't count on her body count. We're just hanging out.
Yeah, no,
it counts because he's still gonna say, "I still fuck."
Little 9-year-old dick.
I'm glad you did, because I didn't. But I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did because I didn't.
But I think at that point, if she didn't feel anything, you could just be like, "It wasn't in, sir." At that point, whatever the fuck you thought you felt.
And you know what? I was like, not to be rude, but I'm not gonna tell nobody. And then my best friend was like, bitch, we ain't faking orgasms, like the fuck. And I was like, oh, my bad. Like, I be trying not to break people's feelings and all that, but like, nah, you got to tell them what it is and what you don't like. And then I'd be thinking about like,
men have an ego. When you start telling men that, you just got to cut her off. Like a man would just cut you off.
He was the type of person that had a big, he's big at what he talks. His business with whoop. But I'd be looking at him like, okay, you talk like you got big dick energy. So that's where I'm understanding. Like, you can't speak to me the way you do when your dick little. Like, you don't touch the gut.
And that is the issue.
And if somebody was if you could dismiss the claim, you could dispute some shit. Right. Dispute the statements. This transaction never took fucking place. Send me another motherfucking card, another B card, another pussy card, mouth card, because this nigga don't count.
It don't.
Wait.
If the nigga was ever say, oh, we fuck nigga, where? rare. You didn't make it past the
I'm
lips.
defending my men here.
And didn't know how to get
To
to
show
them.
you got me
lips,
fighting
okay?
1-on-2, 2v1. I'm defending the men here.
Bear, you need the stripinator.
Look, I'm just saying, nigga got good dick. For me,
But is that fair to the man because he's born?